audience, Parul here again, life and leadership coach. And we have another episode of part of divorcing your parents. And today is part 3. And today we're going to be talking about family wounds. And I've got my dear friends Meher Parul Nagar from all the way from India joining me today. So stay tuned and listen to our conversation. You never know, one small tip could save your life or your loved one. Welcome on board, Meher, and thank you again for giving your time to share your thoughts, your experience, and your knowledge with our audience.
Thank you so much, Parul. I think this series is going very good. Honestly, I'm glad that there are people who are like not just commenting, liking it, and they find it a extremely relevant topic for both the genders. And I'm glad that we have come to this and we are doing it like this part. Almost gonna close it, right?
Absolutely, one more series to left.
Yes.
Yes, audience, as you know, Meher is a trauma therapist, trauma survivor, or I'll say trauma thriver because she's thriving. She didn't let her wounds keep her down. Instead, she's sharing her knowledge and expertise to help others. So, Meher, today we're talking about family wounds. Now, give us an introduction what exactly family wounds mean.
Sure. I think we already spoke about for those who are seeing this video for the first time and haven't seen our previous videos, not aware what are we doing. So please go and watch our previous videos, subscribe and like Parul's channel. I would say that. And also let us know how did you find the content when we did it, whatever be your feedback. So today, it's as I said, we already have covered fatherhood, motherhood, what is divorce, and all of that. Today, it's more about family wounds. So, family means what? Like family. So we live in a world wherein it's more like a nuclear family, but there are a lot of people who are still living in a joint family, right? And who have lived in a joint family or something. So today it will be about all the family members possible we could bring because we have very limited time. But the idea here would be how wounds may look like and how we should not put a label to it saying that this is this relation, this is that relation, this person cannot do it, that person cannot do it. We have a lot of honestly, I think we put these labels and all of that tags to people. I would say tags. Like my brother-in-law is a very good, he's a friend to me. My sister-in-law, she is a bestest friend to me. I don't know why we have these tags. I think we should see people, as I said last time in my motherhood thing. That was my last note. So I would want to bring that part as well more here, because I just want to remind all of us before we start is that to see people as people, without um tagging, labeling, or putting anything up there.
Absolutely, absolutely, Meher. Yeah, and family, we're talking about families, extended family, inherited family, I mean, in-laws, and all our topics and all the things we're talking about from our own experience of our friends and family, our ex-clients, people who share their experiences. So everything we're talking about here are true stories, nothing made up. And also, we're not just talking about one culture, we're talking about multicultural because wounds happen to everyone, regardless of your culture, your gender, your society, high society, whatever you call it, working class society. It happen in every society in different form, including celebrities. And we've seen how celebrities been abused. So it's really important to take notice that, by listening to this, you could be helping somebody else or yourself. So Meher, Take us through details of some example of family owns. What we talked about, for example, brother-in-law. Take us through from some cultural perspectives how you started to talk about extended family, for example, or let's say family living together. Give us some example of how family owned could take place.
Sure. I mean, this is very important. This is something very not just important, but I think this is a very sensitive thing, or maybe something we literally ignore. So I'm gonna start with couple of examples. For example, let's start with a nuclear family where there is a parent, father, and your siblings. So now you can have a family wound wherein your sibling is also abusing you because they see your parents abusing you, correct? And
Absolutely.
here I want to just clarify, when we speak about abuse, we are not just speaking about any particular abuse. It can be any abuse, spiritual, sexual, financial, mental, verbal, any kind of abuse. Okay, I just want to clarify this so that when we are on the same page, you don't see that okay, we haven't spoken about that. No, we are speaking about everything. I think I would bring in my example. As you said, I'm a trauma survivor. I think I should speak about one of my examples, and then I'll bring few more examples, as you said, from uh, people we heard and clients we worked with and things like that, correct? So I am a trauma survivor. Yes, my trauma came from my parents. Yes, I have spoken about it. But today we are talking about family. So I actually saw my grandmother abusing my mother. So that's how abuse came to me as well. We spoke about in mother wound, but here I'm not talking about mother wound at all. I want to correct it because my grandmother, my father's mother, wanted a boy. So even her daughters, which is my father's sisters, my father's sisters, I have seen ill treating my mom, misusing, using her for money, using her for, then you use somebody for money and then abuse them verbally, physically, anyway, as I said, correct? So I've seen that. I've seen how much my mom used to struggle, get money, and they used to use her and then still put her down and then still say you are not a good woman and you haven't done anything good, blah, blah, blah. One part, correct? And even my mother's brother-in-law, which is my father's brother.
Brother, yeah.
Okay, just to rectify that, what do I mean by this? So my father's real brother. I'm talking about real brothers and sisters at this point in time, not cousins and all of that. He also, you get that, right? You see when somebody disrespecting one of the family member, or maybe your mother is disrespecting, everybody else is start disrespecting you and putting all those allegations on you and things like that. Okay, so that part of the story. So here I'll come back to me now. I faced that, and then when it came to my home, what I've seen, Parul, is my sister abusing me. Though she was 6 years younger to me, but she didn't realize. Now I have empathy for her because I understand that she did what her parents made her feel, and she was younger, and that's why I try my best to be kind and compassionate to her, but I cannot be over kind and compassionate to her anymore. So without making it look very confusing, I'm gonna go part by part. Okay, so
Sure.
that it becomes so easy for the people who are listening, somebody who's going through this.
Hmm.
Having said that, I became my sister's mom at an early age because my mom was, is a working woman. Even now she's working. She's in her 70s, but she's still working. Alhamdulillah. So anyways, I happened to become my mom, mom of my for my sister. And even though she used to abuse me and all of that, I still used to take it up because for me, she was a kid. She was my kid. I didn't realize it for like, I would say until I literally came to a point in my life where I was working more on my healing, where it was more about patterns and boundaries and things like that, is when I got to learn that, oh my God, I am I was a mom to my sister for so many years. And for me to even set a boundary or to even see the pattern was a difficult thing because it was so much into me. And not just that, because of that, my sister used to kept on abusing me. Okay. And how did she do that? She abused me, not just I'll be very vulnerable at this point in time because this is very important. I became a Muslim. Okay, when I was about to become a Muslim, actually informed her that I'm a rape survivor. A Muslim raped me, and she knew about it. And I am thinking to become a Muslim. She knew everything. At that point in time, she didn't say much about it. She wasn't happy, but anyways, coming to what I'm bringing up here is that she kept on abusing for like 9 to 10 years, honestly, for for everything happened with me. Okay. From my religion change to my rape to my divorce. See, she has abused me for everything, financials, my beliefs, my clothes, every other thing, every other thing. And there came a point when I was like, you know what? You go to wherever you want to go. I am not taking this up anymore. If you're gonna do all of this, just get lost. And I have had to do that. And it was very difficult, as I said. See, you're getting me. I was a mother, and then I have to change my role gradually and see her as a human, and realize, no, this is not done. This is absolutely something I'm not buying on, and I'm not gonna take on.
Yeah.
So one of the examples, yeah, you want to say
I
something,
was going to
then
say
we'll
something,
go.
Meher. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you got a lot to say. All I was going to say is, Meher, first of all, thank you being vulnerable and sharing and having the courage because not many, especially women, don't have the courage to come and speak, and especially Asian women. So I'm congratulating you for having the courage to come share a story, your story. Second, you mentioned a very important point, setting boundaries, because you had enough. But if we set boundaries from the beginning, because they are our loved one, we ignore a lot, especially if they are family member, we ignore a lot. We say, "Oh, okay, well," but ignoring does not work. You must have a personal boundary so they know how they can treat you. So you have to treat yourself best. I know loved ones sometimes take long time and it took you years to realize and stop it. But people who are listening here, you don't have to suffer years. You can stop it now. Have your own standard, have your own term, whether they are younger than you, older than you, somebody abusing you verbally, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, stop it now. Things must need to stop. Otherwise, you will have no life. Remember, you have only one life. So, Meher, over to you. You were carrying on talking about your sister. You had to stop it to carry on with your life.
Yeah, so I think I just shared my example. I'm just done with my thing. And I have
Hmm.
I'm gonna go with other examples,
Sure.
you know.
Hmm.
So I also want to say, so the topic we are talking speaking about isn't just about abuse, like a normal abuse. We are talking about abuse happening for years together,
Yeah.
right? That's how I started from my childhood, how I
Mm,
saw abuse happening at constant level within my house. And that's why it is so important to know that you know, we get so used to of abuses,
mm,
Parul,
mm.
that we don't even realize that we are getting abused because we think
Absolutely.
that's a normal part
Yeah,
that keeps
yeah, yeah.
happening.
Especially verbal abuse. Verbal abuse by in-laws is so common in a lot of families. And if we being Asian, both of us taking from Asia, Southeast Asian family, people think it's normal.
Yeah.
Sister-in-law, and for a girl coming from their mothers to their husband's house, then the mother-in-law and the sister-in-law start abusing. You gave example of your mom, how your auntie abused your mom, and we're not talking about physical abuse, talking about verbal abuse. Their words hurts, and women abusing women. So it's not just men abusing women abusing women, which is shame really. Women should be empowering women, not abusing women. But because it's a culture, because that's how they brought up, they think it's normal. Even I've seen, it's not just people who hasn't gone to school or not educated. I've seen people, who's done master's degrees, who are highly educated in terms of education. Mean I'm talking about like traditional education. They come and abuse their sister-in-law in the house, verbally shouting, screaming, "Oh, this is not good enough." I remember talking to one person, the particular family member. I said, "Look, this is what happening," and he said, "Oh, this is normal. Is this how people do?" I said, "I couldn't believe he lives in Europe," and he said, "This is normal." I thought your mind should be open up. You're not just living in a one small village, and you should be open up. So men encouraging, they don't say anything, and women just abusing women. So great example, man, in terms of we can give hundreds of example how men and women of family member abuse other women. Yeah, over to you. Sorry, I had to bring that up.
Absolutely. That is so true. That's why I spoke about it because it's so normal. Even here, initially, when I started my work, they were like, "You are making an agenda of things which are not necessary." I said, "What? What are you talking? Are you talking that I should get abused every single time?" No, I have my own rights. Right now, I, for now, I know you are gonna come to tips and everything, but I have had to say it now. I have my rights.
Absolutely,
You have
absolutely.
your rights. Nobody has the right to keep on, not just, traumatizing you, abusing you constantly for years just because they are your family members. Whatever kind of abuse, be it financial, a lot of women get financially abused. Either ways, whether you are too rich or you don't have money, it doesn't matter. You get. And a lot of women get abused this way as well when your partner or maybe somebody, I'm going to speak about something and strange, but I have seen this. Okay, your mom, I'll start with this. Your partner having extramarital affairs, which everybody knows, your partner praising other women in front of you, or maybe your sister, or comparing you with other women, whether it's your mother or whatsoever, doesn't matter. Here, as I said, we are not here to label relationships. We are here to just make it clear that how, you know, abuse and trauma may look like for so many years and how
Yes,
it's
absolutely,
been
absolutely, Meher.
normalized
Yeah. We're using
over the
example to
years.
show what's happened, and people can relate to it because it happens every day. We've seen it. We've seen it. It
Absolutely.
happens every day. Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing I have seen parents taking care of other people, but not their kids.
Yeah.
Like, so other children is what I mean. When it comes to, other children and everything, they love them so much, but they don't have the same love for their own kids. And then they expect that my child should do this and that and all of that. I'm sorry, if I don't know, have you seen a movie? There is a Hindi very well known Bollywood movie, Pakban, where there was a message of you should keep your parents and not abandon them and all of that. I agree. I am not denying that you should abandon your parents or disrespect them. But now here's a point: you also need to see what is your parent doing to you, what is your family member doing to you. Uh, you are being expected to take care of your sibling, whether it is elder sister or brother or whatsoever. I have heard men saying that one of my friend, I like, we were good, we studied together, and he said that when pandemic hit, he lives in UK, in London. So his parents called him up and said, "You live in UK, you must be having a lot of money, and your brother wants to start the business. Why don't you give some money?" And is when I got to hear his story that there's so much pressure on men to fulfill not just their parents' needs, but now their sibling needs as well,
Absolutely.
their
Yeah.
family needs as well, as in your obviously their his wife and his kids and all of that. And everybody is like, because you live in UK, in the UK, you must be having a lot of money. And he was
Mm.
like, "What, man? I don't have any money here. I must be here, but I haven't earned or whatever. I'm not putting anybody down. All I mean is uh this is abuse. This is a clear
Absolutely. Meher, you
abuse.
gave a great example, a common example of Southeast Asian, Bangladeshi, Indian, Pakistani men, especially who come here to live or work. If they have parents or sibling back home, the amount of pressure, financial pressure they have to give money, and over there, here, in UK, me living in UK, and we have to work outside and inside the house. We cook, clean, we do everything ourselves. Back home, people have maids. They, and I'm talking about men, women. Some of them, they don't do any work. They everything done by maid, but they literally taking money from their siblings or their sons, from abroad to live a luxury lifestyle. And that's emotional abuse. Lots of time is emotional abuse, and they put a strain on the marital relationship of couples here, because when they have tension going on, things happen in the household. And I will say that that's literally most of the fault people who are emotionally blackmailing their child. And if their son or daughter don't give money, like, "Oh, you're not my son, or not my daughter, you are there," and they emotionally, sometimes they religiously blackmail them. I've seen it. "Oh, Allah said that, or God said that, or Bhagwan said that, you are," like. But what? They are parents. Are they doing the right thing by emotionally blackmailing their child, or their son or their daughter or their brother or their sister? No, that's wrong. And I think people who are getting blackmail or bullying by family member need to realize and stop it. They're your loved one. Doesn't mean you have to carry on living like that life. You have to stand on your own feet. Look at the lifestyle they're living and you're living. Giving them basic food and shelter. You're giving them a luxury lifestyle. And you living in your mean. Is it right? And we always say your need come first. Treat your
Absolutely.
own personal family first before you treat others. Yeah. Over to you, Meher. I
Yeah,
have to open up because that's a
what you
true
said is
example. Every day I'm seeing it. Every day family are
correct.
suffering because of emotional blackmail for finance.
Absolutely. I told you about my mom. She
Yeah.
she she did her MA and all of that during her time, extremely educated, working really hard. Most of her money has only went to her in-laws. My father's, brother and sister and all of that. At end of it, what is she getting? Nothing.
And
Nothing.
still, if she doesn't do well or she's made one little mistake, they take it over the hill. Like, this is the biggest mistake she made.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
she still feels that. And even my father does that to her every other day without
Mm,
realizing how much she has done for him.
mm.
Honestly.
Yeah, yeah. And I think because it's coming traditionally, still carrying on. And as to young women, we must stop this. Never let this carrying on to be treated like you are nobody. You are human being. You are number
Absolutely.
one.
I think, yeah, what you said is right. That's why we are talking about, if you see here, we are actually talking about generational trauma, the patterns and the
Yeah,
things which are being put and forced on us in the name of tradition and all of that. And then we keep on doing just to please people or be part of the society, or we are too scared. What will I do without money if I don't have money? I think the worst is yet to come. I'm gonna speak about it. I just felt like speaking about it when we started is that a lot of women get into, I won't say human trafficking 100%, but it is human trafficking.
yeah,
Okay. And I've seen real stories where not just your husband is forcing you to sleep with other men for benefits, even your brother-in-law is physically doing that with doing that. Not he's also sexually abusing you and forcing you to do that. Even your father-in-law doing that to you. Okay? And this is real. This is not just abuse. This cannot be just abuse. It
yeah.
is human trafficking for me. It is,
Absolutely, absolutely,
right?
absolutely. Mm.
So I don't know why a lot of women don't come up and speak about it. A lot of women don't come up and say my own brother sexually abused me multiple times, right? Uh this brother, I'm not talking about your real brother. It can be your cousin brother as well. We don't speak about it because
No,
we are
no.
too afraid to lose that family member. It
But
has
also the
happened.
society, isn't it, Meher? The what
Yeah.
society? How I think when you grow up, people. Well, your own family been put into your head that shame to talk about. So don't talk about these issues. These are shame. Whether is always a lot of time is men's fault, you get blame. Oh, why you dress up nice? Why you put makeup on? Why you do that? You know. And you talked about Meher two things. One is about brother-in-law and father-in-law, and we've seen and heard stories how brother-in-law mean both side, sister's husband or husband's brother abusing physically, emotionally, but sexually abusing their sister-in-law. Inappropriate touch, quite common. Even child sister-in-law. I've seen friends, back home where their sister get married, the brother-in-law comes in, and then they ask, loads of perform some unusual act to them or touch them or they touch their sister-in-law who are a child, who could be a child, under 18. So is something, and people don't talk about because they are so scared that they're going to be get blamed, then they can't get married. So is family putting pressure, society putting pressure on girls not to talk about abuse, and that's why it's continuously happening. So we are here to talk about, if it's happened to you, stop it. Nobody have right to abuse you emotionally, mentally, physically, sexually. Nobody. Over to you, Meher.
Yeah, I think we already spoke about a lot of patterns and all of that. I think we should go ahead and speak about how you should not just how you should see them. I think we already spoke about how you should see the patterns and with a lot of examples here. The next thing I would want to say to the audience is what you should do, right? So for
Yes,
what you should do, I would first thing I think I always say that is uh I that's how I started off. See people as people. Don't label them. Don't put
absolutely.
any tags to them. Oh, he this person is this and that is this and all of that is it's very, very important. Until we don't see people as people, it is so difficult to get out of that abuse and see that you need to do something really, something to protect yourself, something to put you out of it. The next thing I would say, I think you already said that most people speak about shame, not to get into shame, guilt, and all of that, but I want to speak more, the next level to it. The level. the thing I'm trying to say here, it's not about you shouldn't feel shamed and guilty and all of that, because it's okay to feel that. I feel it's okay to feel whatever you are feeling, because you have been made to feel this for literally years. Even I have been made to feel that you bring shame to our family, to our relatives. You know, if if I have revolted against someone who is abusing me, I have brought, yeah, I have been defamed about it publicly by my father in my in-laws house for the first time, where I was about to get married. So point here, it's not about feeling what you're feeling. It's also about accepting, acknowledging, and then working on your healing. And you can work on your healing only when you have accepted and acknowledged, as I said. Also, you can only work on your healing when you realize that if you are gonna continue and you have a child, even your child is gonna you are actually making your child vulnerable to these abuses,
Absolutely, absolutely, yes.
right? So you might be thinking you are the only one who is making vulnerable to you, to yourself, but it's not the truth. Even your child, who's your uh I think specifically children become vulnerable to these abuses. And that's why it is so important for you to take a stand for you. A lot of women can't take a stand for their healing because they think we don't have money, we are financially weak, we are not we are dependent or whatsoever, and they don't take a stand for themselves. I think it is so important for women or men, even for men. I told you how men are being oppressed in the name of
Absolutely,
money,
we need to bring the subject
all
in,
of
Meher,
that.
since you talk about. I know. I mean, I got to know someone introduced me kind of to the scenario where the man, married man, and he was abused by his uncle for a long time, and his wife could guessy, but not guessy because the whole way they are together in one room. But and he's so sensitive about his uncle, so she got really scared. So when the uncle comes, she will hide her own child, own son, to make sure her son doesn't get abused by this uncle. But men don't talk about it. I think men find more harder to talk about abuse than women, because women literally, verbally we are more vocal, where men are not. So it happened to men and women. Abused by, whether they abused by men or women, happened to men as well. And so important to talk about men's abuse as well.
Absolutely. And it is so important for both of them to take a stand. I think there is something where a lot of people lack is to take a stand for themselves and work on themselves. That's where I see a lot of, uh, people are not working there. I think people should work more on that area and not resist these abuses or these traditions and norms and cultures anymore and say no to it. I think that's what I would want to say. And for that, it is also important that you start making boundaries, as we spoke about, right?
Absolutely, personal boundaries,
Boundaries
yes.
of saying, even if you can't say no to people or you find it so difficult to stand, because I have seen my clients who find it so difficult to say no and make a boundary. But the basic thing they can do, somebody who's at a basic level probably can do, is like uh just avoid and ignore them. Don't go with them. Even if they happen to confront them, then just protect themselves, say a lie, do something about it. Bring somebody, bring your relative or someone. Oh, I have this work. Oh, come in. Why don't you sit with us or something? Do something about it. I think that's how, and something like that, bringing something so that you can escape that
Divert, yeah,
particular.
divert the situation to start with. I know, Meher, we talk about, people don't talk about it. And I think during COVID, I was inundated with working with women who were going through domestic violence. As we all know, worldwide during COVID, domestic violence went high. between couples within the family environment, not just couple by in-laws who are living in the same household. And two things came to my attention that time working with all these women, even women who have been suffering domestic violence for 40 years. Lack of self-confidence and lack of
Yeah.
financial instability, because they don't have self-confidence. Their husband run the family. They thought they can't take any stand because they have no money. And I was telling this woman, look, there's lots of, doesn't matter which country you live in, there are supports available. European countries, there's government support, there's lots of voluntary sector. In a third world country, there are charities who helps women who's going through, difficult, challenging time. But is the self-confidence always hits people because they don't believe in themselves, they don't have the confidence to speak up, they struggle. And you talked about
I
personal
I
boundaries.
agree.
People don't set personal boundaries. They think this happens is all acceptable. But what you are teaching your son or your daughter, they will accept same kind of abuse. They will then become, some of them become abuser, and some of them become totally opposite, saying, no, I've seen this, I'm not going to let my family go through that. And I've seen both side of men's, becoming abuser or become totally opposite of, I'm going to be the best version for my family. Yeah, over to you, man.
Yeah, what you said is so right. About they lack. I agree. They lack self confidence and self esteem, which is very true. But I think they also lack that thing that I don't know. I have seen that maybe I'm not important. I'm not so important. If you are a mother, then I don't know. Somehow your child is more important, or maybe your husband is more important than you. I feel it is so important for us to get, whether you are a male or female, I don't care. All I mean is you have to get to know that you are more important. If
Absolutely.
you don't feel that you are more important than anybody else as a humanly, then it is so difficult to work through anything, whether it is your boundary making, patterns, healing, or anything. You cannot do anything about it because I think it's more because it's been so much ingrained in us that I am not important. Everybody's needs are important. Everybody is more important. Uh, Only if I will do everything for everyone, then only I'll get importance. And that's why
Absolutely.
most people feel that pressure to do things, to seek that um not to hurt, but that's why I do what I
Because they feel they
do.
will be wanted
That's
if they feel that they do that, behave that way. But people forget that every time whoever travel on the plane, you go in and the first announcement of putting your oxygen mask first before even if you help your child or somebody else. So remember one thing: if you can't breathe, how can you help somebody else to breathe? You have to breathe
absolutely.
first.
And most
So you have to take care of yourself first. Yeah, most women, because they're not been brought up that way, they forget. Especially traditional Asian, they've been taught your husband, your in-laws, your children first. You are the last person. And we've seen women neglecting themselves because they've been taught their husband, no, you are first. Forget about husband. Your husband is there. You take care of yourself first before you take care of everybody else. They're here.
absolutely. So
You can't help somebody, you can't look after somebody if you don't look after yourself. And nobody will respect you, love you, treat you if you don't love yourself first, because you're setting your own example. So please don't put yourself down. Yeah, Meher.
absolutely, you said it right. So, you said that absolutely. I mean, until we don't feel important, we don't give ourselves enough importance, and we don't realize that we should be the first ones, not because we are being selfish. I have heard people feeling that, oh, maybe I'm becoming selfish. That's why I always tell them, no, when you're making yourself a priority and making yourself important, you are not being selfish. You are not at all being selfish. You are just being human and which is your right. It's a right for every other human to be a human, right? And and you said that we need to take care of ourselves first, and then only we can take care of others. Also, I want to add on this. uh we have this pressure to please everyone. We have
Yes.
this pressure to make everybody happy apart from us. At times we seek happiness in others happiness. I have heard people saying, when somebody else is happy, I become happy. Why? I'm not We have misunderstood this concept. I'm not saying you should be jealous or envious, but this makes no sense that when somebody else is happy, I am happy. Which means if you, even if you won't be happy and somebody else is happy, you will pretend to be happy. So stop pretending or ignoring your pain, your abuses, your things. Y- You get me? It is
Mm.
so important to see through within, within and outside of yourself. Not just, it shouldn't be just about people and everybody else um in and around us.
Absolutely,
That's
Meher.
what
You have to eat fast to give it to people. You can't give it to people if your glass is half full. You have to fill up the glass, make sure it's flowing. So you have to flow yourself fast. You have to be happy to give happiness. You cannot distribute something that you don't have. You can't distribute money if you don't have money. You need to earn the money. Whatever way you earning, whether it's business or work, you have to have enough money to give. If you just give everything away, how are you gonna live? So feed yourself first before you can feed somebody else.
absolutely. And as I said, the reason I spoke about pretending is I have been there. I'm a CPTSD trauma survivor. And I was so good in pretending that nobody would ever know that I'm pretending. I will feel so happy because everybody is happy, and I'll giggle and I'll laugh and I'll do all of those things. But excuse me, after coming home, I used to feel completely fucked up about my own life. That's why I spoke about the fact that you don't have to be happy just because everybody is happy. It's okay. It's okay to not to be happy, because it's fine to feel that, because your part of the world isn't same how they are, what they are going through. And honestly, how many of us a- actually come up vulnerably and speak about our stories, and how many stories do we really know about? Are we
Absolutely.
sure that we know about all the stories we, even about your close ones, whether it is your closest or bestest friend? Are we sure that you know that story?
Absolutely, Meher. You gave a great example. Sometimes you could spend years with your best friend, but you don't know their story because they are so inside, they don't want to talk about it. You know, uh, and I'm writing actually a book at the moment. Even one of my closest friend, I didn't know she was abused by her own father. I only found out when I was working. Another friend told me. She never smiled, but she was the most helpful girl in the class. So when you hear this story, we don't know so many people suffering. There's so many hidden stories because people don't have sometimes they think they will put their family at risk, and people don't have the confidence to come and share. So people like yourself, Meher, and other people who come and share their story, it does motivate, encourage, and especially the younger generation who are watching to come and talk about the issue. So it's not hidden under the blanket because we are so, and it's across the society. And I'll say the high society is more putting under the blanket. They also worry about what's going to happen if other people find out. We've seen from celebrities to royal families, people try to put things under the blanket because if it goes out in the public, it's going to be a shame. So it's not just one culture, happening in every other culture. Trying to hide everything under the blanket, but who is suffering? The person who's been affected by. Yeah, yeah. Over to you, Meher.
Absolutely. I think that's all I would want to say to my audience. Please don't pretend. Please prioritize yourself. Please make yourself important. And as we both spoke about that, you can only help others when you help yourself. You cannot help others until you are not at a in a good space. And it is so important to see people as people. I want to say one thing before we end this up is that I don't want to bring that Israel and Pakistan Palestine war here, but I'm a trauma survivor too by a born Muslim, and I have been through a lot of things after that. I'm at a stage in my life I see people as people, and I have learned that we should stop seeing people from any other point of views, like whether it is casteism, religion, status, money, I don't know what all, celebrities for celebrities, and all of that. I think we should just see people as people. That's all. I think that's
Absolutely.
how
Yeah, yeah,
life will
yeah,
become
yeah,
so easier.
yeah. That just
And
reminded me, Meher, one thing is, end of the day, we are human.
yeah,
Regardless, before we followed any religion, we were created as a human. Then religion came in and people start dividing, and then whole men and women issue, gender issue comes in, but also abuse. One of the thing I must say to again, what you remind me, Meher, is we are human, but also abuse does not have a color, a religion, a gender. Abuse are abuse, whether that's mental, physical, emotional, financial, whatever you call it, and it doesn't have a society. It's happen regardless. So you must see abuse is not related to anything. Whether they are a loved one, it must stop, and you need to take care of yourself. Set your personal boundaries. And I know today we kind of talked instead of separating our question and giving top tips, because we gave tips in between our conversation. So not all video going to be same, because the conversation that's relevant to every single person in the world. So yeah, that's why our pattern of this video is slightly different than others. Yeah, Meher, carry on with your
that
yeah,
that's all I would want to say for today's thing. That's all I have to, because I have seen it, especially in a lot of our Asian countries, which I speak about most times. I think it's there in UK and in the US and other countries as well. I don't know about that. But we have this so much pressure to look good, be kind and compassionate to others. If I'm not doing that to myself, I cannot do to others. And for that, if I'm finding it so difficult to do even for me, then I really need to work through this. I think it's time that we work through this, and we should take this as our challenge for this year, or maybe something, and put it on our vision board or something, and say that I'm gonna do this for myself this year, despite who says what to me and who does what to
absolutely,
me.
absolutely. And I also adding to that, Meher, I would say that do one thing every single day. They're going to help you to grow your own personal growth, because there's nothing more important in you, in your growth. Breathe first, look after yourself first, because only then other people can see and respect you, because you're taking care of yourself. Yeah, Meher.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so
Uh,
Meher, we're gonna wrap up. So if you were, I know we talked about quite a lot. If you were to leave one thoughts with our audience, what that would be?
I think I would say is, don't ignore and avoid and be a reason to pass on these generational traumas. The topic we spoke about today was more into generational trauma, if you notice that.
Yeah.
And we don't realize that how badly it impacts. I just want to say one last thing. Uh, I have realized people who have a lot of communal hatred or racism or whatsoever, it's not coming in from present century. It's been passing over the years and years and years until we come in and say, this is enough. I'm not getting into your business. I think we should
Absolutely.
do that for everything.
Absolutely, Meher, they're taking a stand for your own rights, for you being as a human. Absolutely. Because yeah, it is generational trauma is happening for a long time. Every issue happening from a long time. But it's taking the stand and keep talking about it. Because if we keep talking about it, then other people will know. So, more people coming forward, more people talk about issues, it's become easier for those who are struggling to heal, struggling to talk about, because you can't heal yourself unless you bring it out, because you're keeping everything inside you. And once you start bringing out, it helps you with your healing journey. And talk about healing. Next topic, Meher. What are you gonna we're gonna finish off this series next week? What's the
Yeah.
next
So we
topic?
are we are gonna do the last part of the series, which is healing wounds. We have already been given a lot of tips and tricks and all of that. So if you have any questions or you want us to answer anything, you may drop in those questions to maybe Parul or someone. Parul, I think why did you drop in all those questions to Parul, and we'll answer that as well. I think let's do that too. So if you have anything
Absolutely.
to ask, just put in those questions and we'll answer that too.
Yeah, absolutely, Meher. So, Meher, if people want to connect with you, what's the best point of contact?
I think my Instagram ID, Genuine Conversations Meher. That's how it is. Genuine Conversations Meher.
Mhm.
So if you'll put in there, I'll be there. And you can connect with me on Instagram. I have a temporary website. I'm in the process to make a better website. I have launched one new brand of mine. So I already had genuine conversations with Mayor. I just launched a new brand name, Healing Trauma Wounds, because I felt that will connect with people when it comes to trauma, being a trauma expert and somatic healing therapist and all of that. So yeah, I have launched that. We are working on it, and soon I'll come back with that
Oh,
too.
congratulations. I'd like to hear more later. So,
Thank
audience, I
you.
know this video is longer because, as you can see, we had a genuine conversation, which is so relevant to Meher's brand as well. Yes, so like, share, and subscribe to our video, because then you can get alert on our next video as well. And here you'll see all our organic video. We don't add anything on our conversation. We don't cut all our raw, because we want you to get all the messages. So none of my video been edited at all. We just put what is being discussed. And you can see that when you listen to our conversation, because we want to help the community, help the society. So stay tuned for our next episode, which will be about healing from all the last 4 cities we talked about. So stay tuned, and bye for now.